I am here to give a summary of how to raise free-ranged Cornish cross meat chickens. Information here is taken from my day-by-day diary that I kept. This is a summary. Many more details are available at RaisingBackyardChickens101.com. Note that this video is closed caption for the hearing impaired. Just click on the CC icon. Your first step is to get all the needed equipment. You will need a brooder setup. What works well is a 5 or 6 foot kiddie pool. And for the heat source, I simply use a 2 foot by 2 foot box with legs fastened at each corner and a hole at the top. The brooder light hangs through the center. You will need a small roll of 2 foot chicken wire to encircle the pool after the second week. Otherwise, the chicks might escape. You will need a bale of pine shavings. Actually, you only need about 1/2 a bale for each brooder setup. You will need small waterers for your brooder. You will need a larger waterer for when your larger chickens are out of the brooder. And I would suggest another water source for inside your chicken pen that may be filled from outside. I made an inexpensive waterer from a plastic drywall mud pan. The extra water source is insurance in case your primary water source is used up or leaks. Extra water like this can save you from losing your chickens on a hot day. You will need several feeders. This tray feeder works well in a brooder. But as the chicks get larger, you will need a larger feeder. About 12 large chickens can fit around this feeder. You will need feed. To start, you need a bag of chick starter. And after the second week, you will start to feed them broiler grower. Your feed store will have these. You will need some way to free range your chickens. Leaving them roam around unguarded nearly always leads to a raccoon, dog, coyote, fox, or hawk killing your chickens. So you need a large, fenced area with cover over the top, or use what is called a chicken tractor. I used a chicken tractor shown here. As you can see, there are wheels that allow me to move the tractor daily. This gives my chickens fresh, clean grass and clover to eat daily, and clean living conditions. Also notice the tarp. This provides shade to keep the house cool in hot weather. I designed and built this PVC chicken tractor so I could safely lock up my chickens each night. This unique lockup feature helped me not lose one chicken to predators. I have free plans for building this at RaisingBackyardChickens101.com. Okay, now I will give a summary of what you can expect as you raise your chickens. As taken from my day-by-day diary, the first thing that happened was I got my chicks. I got mine at the feed store. They had them on hand, and this was nice because I did not end up having to order them. I placed my chicks in the brooder setup that had a few inches of wood shavings at the bottom. I had my brooder in an unheated garage, and on the first night it got down to around 30 degrees Fahrenheit, so I placed a large tarp over the top of the 2 sawhorses. On the second night it was colder yet, so I placed another tarp over the front. But I left an opening so chicks could escape the heat, as needed. This is important. If you close it all up too much, the heat can kill your chicks. Try to have 90 degrees Fahrenheit near the light. I kept my bird-eating pets away, and I even secured the door to prevent it from accidentally popping open. I always made sure my chicks had water, and I made sure my chicks had food, and for the first 2 weeks I provided food around the clock, although they generally cleaned up the tray feeder by morning. For the first 2 weeks I added new shavings over the top, but after 2 weeks I replaced all the shavings with new. My chicks developed fast. At day 8, they already started getting tail feathers. Sometime after the first week, I installed the 2 foot chicken wire around the perimeter to keep them from hopping out. Also, I raised up the water so it stayed cleaner. After about 14 days, I went with the larger feeder. Also, at this time, I introduced the regular broiler grower feed. And also at this time, I pulled the feed for 12 hours each day so they could not eat around the clock. This is to prevent leg and heart problems caused by gaining too much weight too fast. And I raised the feeder up a bit higher too, to keep it cleaner. In the 3rd week, you can either replace the brooder light with a smaller watt bulb, or even take it out if it is warm enough. In my case, my bulb burned out, probably from a bird flapping its wings, and I replaced it with a 75 watt bulb. At the end of 3 weeks, my chickens had most of their feathers, and they were ready to move out. This was their last night in the brooder setup. At the start of the 4th week, the chickens went out into the chicken tractor, and each day I moved the tractor. As you can see, the feed will draw them out to the front. I brought them feed and changed water each morning. A short video clip of me moving the tractor is shown here. And after moving the tractor, I washed down the area. This not only keeps the area clean and allows the lawn to rebound quickly, it keeps down the smell. And that smell is not only objectionable to people, it attracts predators. If it was rainy, I placed a few panels over the top to keep the feed dry. Wet feed will quickly mold and rot and should be discarded. At the end of each night, I herded the chickens in. Actually, in a week or so, they would all go inside by themselves. Then I locked the chickens up in the secure metal house each night, and I pulled the feed for 12 hours until morning. Here's a 32-day-old chicken. Clearly, they are no longer chicks. At the end of the 5th week, I switched to a 5-gallon waterer, shown in the back. Also, I had my tray waterer inside the pen. In my shaded house with my inside mud tray waterer, my chickens suffered no stress during 90-degree days. The chickens foraged around for clover and grass, but I fed them plates of clover and grass, and they seemed to eat more of it that way. And I found by attaching bundles of clover and grass to the side, they would even eat more of this natural feed. And at 8 weeks, these chickens are considered to be of ideal age for butchering. They will continue to grow, but more slowly, and the meat will be tougher if you leave them grow. Here's what you need for butchering: a canner, a bucket, old cooler, washable table, knife, cutting board, traffic cone with opening cut to 4 inches, and hose. I give more details on the butchering process at RaisingBackyardChickens101.com. And here are the final figures. I started with 12 chicks and ended up with 12 chickens in the freezer. The total cost came to about $1.63 per pound of finished meat, which is a pretty good price for free-range chicken. So if you want to try this yourself, I would encourage you to visit my website at RaisingBackyardChickens101.com.